History of French cuisine. For as long as humans have gathered together, there have been cooks preparing food for consumption or for barter and trade. However, it is only in recent centuries that the professional chef has become a popular concept and career. Although cooking traditions developed in countless cultures worldwide and throughout history, the center of the evolution of the restaurant and a major influence in cuisine today is France. French cuisine evolved over centuries of political and social change and has spread internationally so that it is an integral part of culinary mastery everywhere. Medieval era, 13th to 14th centuries. In the Middle Ages, there were no restaurants. Food that was cooked for sale to the general public was in market-style settings for travelers. Cooks were servants for the nobility, and fine dining occurred in the form of large, multi-course feasts in their homes. The style of food was influenced by Italian cooking, an effect of Roman occupation of Gaul in earlier centuries. Medieval cuisine consisted of basic foods like cooked meats with spices only for the wealthy, as they were imported from Asia and Africa. Ancien regime, meaning old order or old system, refers to the French political and social systems prior to the French Revolution that was dictated by monarchs and aristocrats. French cuisine was heavily influenced by master Italian chefs during this era due to marriage of Catherine de' Medici of Florence to the future King Henry II of France. Catherine brought her chefs with her, and Paris became the center of economic activity and exchange of ideas. Although culinary expertise was exchanged, food distribution was regulated by the city government, so the culinary arts did not flourish, except in private kitchens of royalty and aristocrats in France and internationally. Groups of skilled craftsmen called guilds were formed, and guilds of cooks were restricted to certain areas and certain types of cooking. Bakers had to stick to baking. Some food was served in taverns or inns, but not in an establishment dedicated specifically to food service for the public. Tavern keepers were beginning to attract customers for their soups that were supposed to maintain and restore good health, called restoratives, from which the term restaurant derives. Restaurant actually referred to the kind of soup originally. In fact, the first restaurants to have the sole purpose of serving these restoratives are said to have been established by Martin Rose de Chanteau toward the end of this period, 1770s, and they catered to traveling businessmen. There are other accounts that the first restaurant, in the sense of selling restoratives, was opened by a man named Bollinger in 1765, and that he tried to expand his menu but was sued successfully by competitor cooks under the guild system.
Early Hatu cuisine. In the pre-revolutionary period in France, there was a sharp contrast between what was cooked in the public realm and what was enjoyed by ruling class. Hatu cuisine, meaning high cuisine, is the style of cooking that was served in the homes of the nobility and aristocracy. Professional chefs who planned elaborate multi-course meals with detailed presentation worked as servants in the kitchens of the elite. The elaborate feasts have been prepared for nobility all throughout in Middle Ages. But the beginning of the French haute cuisine era was established when the chef named Novelli published the first cookbook on distinct a French cuisine in 1651. Le cuisinier in courses. This style of cooking broke away from Italian cooking traditions and the heavy thick dishes. It replaced the heavy use of foreign spices with locally ground on herbs and vegetables. The rocks, a thickening agent for soups and sauces, was introduced in La Varini's cookbook. Post-French Revolution, 19th century. Up until the French Revolution, 1789 to 1789 to 1799. Chefs were household servants to the French aristocracy. But by 1800s, the chef who used to cook for the aristocracy had to find new opportunities. Since the French Revolution and has severely altered the social structure, and many nobles either faced the guillotine or exile. Furthermore, the guild system was abolished, along with its restrictions on chefs. They could now cook whatever they wanted wherever or they could find work. Many of these chefs opened their own establishment and expanded the experience of fine cuisine, making it accessible to the general public. Once menus were created and cookbooks were published, particular styles and movements in the culinary arts developed that still influence cooking methods today. Marie Antoinette Carême was a child during the French Revolution and grew up under the new social structure with the guidance of skilled pastry cooks. He would then go on to cook for her emperors and kings, including Napoleon and King George IV, which elevated it the status of the professional private chef. His receipts would codify a French Hatu cuisine, also called Grande cuisine, that is still practiced in restaurants today. So he is called the father of Grande cuisine. Modern Hatu cuisine, 20th century. Auguste Escoffier refined many of the common culinary practice by the late 19th century / early 20th century, and is credited with modernizing in Hatu Grande cuisine by simplifying its extravagant style. Escoffier's own style would come to be called cuisine classique or classic cuisine. One of the major changes between prior cooking styles and the introduction of cuisine classique was to focus on serving meals in multiple courses as opposed to serving the food at all on one time. Another movement in French cuisine, Novelli cuisine, new cooking, was initiated by Fernand Point in the mid-20th century. Contrasted with cuisine classique, this type of cuisine is characterized by lighter, more delicate dishes with an increased emphasis on presentation.
Brief history of American food service. Early pioneers. In colonial times, taverns and inns sold food, but the establishments were intended mainly for lodging or drinking alcohol, and food was not offered on menus as we would expect at a restaurant today. The style of service in early American history prior to the late 18th century was table d'hôte, meaning menu of the host, in which a set meal is served at a set price, and patrons often shared a common table. The concept of the French restaurant, with menus and individual table service order, was introduced to the early United States at the end of the 18th century when Julien's Restaurateur premiered in Boston in 1794, making it the first restaurant in America. This establishment mainly served thick soups and dishes meant to restore health, just like the fine restaurants of Paris. The eating house concept grew rapidly, and by 1805, populous cities of the East, such as Boston and New York, had established several eating houses, coffee houses, and oyster houses. As the United States population expanded and urbanization increased, the number of restaurants increased. Boston is home to the Union Oyster House, which opened in 1826 and is still operating today, the oldest continuously run restaurant in America. This restaurant was reportedly a favorite of John F. Kennedy. Fine dining. The first fine dining establishment is said to be Delmonico's, which opened in New York City in 1837 and has since been moved, closed, reopened, and recreated to resemble the original. Famous patrons included Abraham Lincoln, Mark Twain, Charles Dickens. Upscale hotels began adding fine dining restaurants inspired by Delmonico's. Multicultural Cuisine. The United States is known as the country of immigrants, so naturally immigration has played a role in American food service. Over time, various ethnic foods have made their way to American food service, from Irish meat and potatoes to Asian spicy foods. There are too many nationalities to list in great detail, but here are some examples. In the 1800s, large numbers of Chinese immigrants came to the United States. They were concentrated in the San Francisco area during the California Gold Rush, and they worked on the Transcontinental Railroad in the West in the 1860s. In addition to performing heavy labor, these Chinese immigrants also survived by setting up businesses. These businesses and side jobs included laundering services, providing child care for the children of workers, and cooking. As the Chinese population grew, Chinatowns eventually developed across the country, spreading Chinese culture and cuisine. The American Southwest was, of course, influenced by the cooking of Mexico. The restaurant and the title of the country's oldest Mexican restaurant, which is still running today, is El Charro Cafe, opened in Tucson, Arizona in 1922. Chain restaurants and fast food. The first chain restaurants were called the Harvey House chain, introduced in 1870. They were located by train stations for the convenience of railroad travelers. Passengers often did not have time to dine during dining stops if there was no place to eat nearby, and the dining carts on the train were limited. The first quick service restaurant, QSR, or what we call fast food, was technically White Castle, which became the first hamburger chain in 1921 and reached the landmark of selling its millionth hamburger by 1957, as well as inspiring similar franchised operations. White Castle gets the title of first QSR as opposed to full-service restaurant because of its limited menu, which was hamburgers, and it was the first restaurant chain to use drive-up windows in the 1930s. The speaker system was not incorporated until the 1950s. McDonald's, now the world's largest fast food chain, was opened in 1948 by brothers Maurice and Richard McDonald. McDonald's introduced a system based on the assembly line of the automobile industry called Speedy service system, which reduced the preparation time and food cost. Self-service counter eliminated the need for and cost of servers waiting on tables. Food was cooked and wrapped ahead of time and placed under heat lamps. The business was purchased and the franchise established in Illinois by Ray Kroc in 1955. Other popular fast food restaurants such as Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, and Burger King were established in the 1950s, and they adopted the Speedy service system as well. The term fast food was officially recognized by Merriam-Webster in 1951. When Burger King was founded in 1954, a flame broiled hamburger cost 18 cents.
A new style emerged from this era where the service is arranged in plates of food rather than the more common model of shared family dining. This is known as the American style of service. The term fast food was recognized officially by Merriam-Webster in 1951. When Burger King was founded in 1954, flamed broiled hamburgers cost 18 cents.
Content. Marie-Antoine, Antonin Paulsoulat, Care Augustes Coffee-Fur and Point Gaston Lennox Alice Waters James Beard Julia Child Header. Marie-Antoine, Antonin Paulsoulat, Care Content. June Thamania, Alfwasa, Louis Aqua Abanga Thamanun, January Isa Ashara, Alfwa Thamanu.
Marie-Antoine Carmine, Auguste Escoffier, Fernand Point, Gaston Leno Alice Waters, James Beard, Julina a Child, Marie-Antoine Carmine, June 8, 1784 through January the 12th, 1833, Paris, France. The signature style of French cooking known as Hatu cuisine, was brought to a peak of perfection by Marie Antonian Karimi at the turn of the 19th century. Truly a rags to riches story. Karimi was an orphan and abandoned by his peasant parents and left to fend for himself. He took a apprenticeship, was renowned patisserie Sylvain Bailey in 1798, and became famous for his elaborate architectural centerpieces. These pieces consisted mainly of ingredients such as pastry, sugar, and marzipan. Some of them stood several feet high and were strong enough to support dancing jesters, Napoleon and King George IV, as well as other famous French and English diplomats and members of high society, commissioned Remy to create menus for the kitchens of their personal estates. He is known as Chef of Kings and Chef of Kings. Achievements: created the original chef's hat or toque, published a classification for sauces based on 4 original groups called mother sauces, wrote first encyclopedic works on cooking, most famously L'Art de la Cuisine franchise in 1833-34 through 34. 1833 through 1834. Auguste Escoffier, October 28, 1846 through February 12, 1935. Villet and Uvi-Loubet, France. The modernization of French Hatu cuisine to a style turned classic cuisine can be created to Auguste Escoffier. Escoffier apprenticed at a restaurant owned by his uncle when he was 13 years old. He worked in famous restaurants in Paris, Switzerland, London, and Monte Carlo. After spending a part of his early days as the chef de cuisine of the army during the Franco-Prussian War and gaining insight into the particular challenges presented in such an environment, Escoffier became an expert in preserving and canning foods. After he returned to civilian life, Escoffier went on to meet Swiss hotelier's sister Ritzy Hotels, and the two became an influential pair. From their early partnership at the Savoy Hotel in London, they made significant changes to the levels of service at their establishments that influenced hospitality management practices today. Philanthropic endeavors such as preserving food for easier distribution to the poor and hungry, as well as the organization of volunteer programs to help the less fortunate, and were areas of interest for Escoffier and led to many awards and commendations later in his career. In 1920, the French government honored Escoffier by making him a Chevalier of the Legion d'Honneur. Germany's Kaiser Wilhelm II was quoted as saying, "I am the Emperor of Germany, but you are the Emperor of chefs." Fernand Point, 1897 through 1955. Lone Hans, France. When we use the term Novelli cuisine today, we are honoring the late and definitely great Fernand Point. Point was born in France at the turn of the 20th century and influenced many changes in culinary practices throughout his illustrious career. He has been described as a man of massive proportions as well as personality. His entrepreneurial sprint led him into open restaurant de la Pyramide in 1922 at the tender age of 26, where he refined his practices and developed his philosophies about cuisine. Fernand Point likes to compose regional and seasonal ingredients with thoughtful consideration, much the way one would coordinate an outfit. He expected a singular perfume or ingredient to enhance the experience of each dish. Achievements: father of Novelli cuisine and pioneer of trends toward lighter cooking. Mentor to some of the greats: Paul Bocuse, Francois Baez, Alan Chappell, and Pierre E. and Jean Foy Gross, to name a few. Gaston Lenotre, May 28, 1920 through January the 9th, 2009, Normandy, France. Gaston Lenotre was born into a long line of talented chefs and culinary masters in Normandy, France in 1920. His mother, Eleanor, was his earliest professional influence. She worked for the Rothschild family as one of the very first women chefs. From Gaston's first establishment, which he purchased from his boss in 1987, he became popular for his sophisticated cakes and tortas. His establishments expanded throughout Paris and surrounding areas, and he developed an in-house school in 1971. Then he trained some of the best as artisans and bakery professionals, and he explored new methods of freezing and preserving his quality products. His techniques revitalized a profession and made the Lenotre name famous around the world through his numerous franchises. His children went on to found the Culinary Institute in Houston. Achievements: made innovations in creams, mousses, Bavarians, and charlottes. Developed freezing techniques that avoided preservatives and maintained freshness, creating new markets and distribution capabilities. And inspired businessmen created the first franchise as well as influenced its culinary trading and scholastic enterprise. Gaston Lenoir was the main inspiration for the character Gesu in the 2007 Pixar film Ratatouille. Alice Walters, April 28, 1944, Chatham, New Jersey. Alice Waters is one of the most influential American chefs and a pioneer in modern trends in cooking. Born in 1944, Waters spent her formative years in New Jersey before attending UC Berkeley and studying French culture. After graduating in 1967, she trained at the Montessori School in London. Using her experience and travels as inspiration, Alice opened Chez Pain and Nisi in 1971. She created a revolutionary concept and menu format that started quite a buzz in the Bay Area. Alice offered a single fixed price menu that varied each day according to locally available seasonal ingredients. Over the next 4 decades, Waters would expand her operations as well as become an advocate for new practices related to farming and healthy eating. The Adable Schoolyard, for example, which Waters helped organize at a local Berkeley elementary school, helps promote awareness and teach students to grow, cook, and share food in their community. Achievements: created the concept of California cuisine, founded at the Chef's Inisi Foundation and to promote healthy eating and local farming. A strong governor of the slow food movement. Author Author of 8 books on cooking and related subjects and recipients of numerous awards, including Best Chef in America by the James Beard Foundation in 1992. May 5, 1903 through January the 21st, 1985. Portland origin. The chef hailed as the father of American gastronomy. He started his career in the unlikeliest of ways. James Beard was born in Origin in 1903, and he spent much of his young fishing, gathering shellfish from the rivers, and cooking his meals over open fires. Beard left college to pursue aspirations of becoming a famous actor. He toured with a radical old troops for years and struggles to pay the bills. By 1935, James decided to supplement in his income with a catering business. Horace de Oliver Inc. soon gained notoriety for original and hearty appetizers and led Beard to devote his first published cookbook exclusively to cocktail food. Horace de Oliver. Beard's successes is mounted and many books followed, included Cook It Outdoors 1942, Cook It Outdoors 1942, which was the first of its kind. In 1946, Beard appeared on NBC's first television cooking show, and he continued to be television and in magazine articles about the culinary arts for decades that followed. 1955 brought a new venture, the James Beard Cooking School, which continues today in New York and Origin. Beard traveled extensively as a consultant, educator, speaker, and culinary writer until his death in 1985. His collection of classic cookbooks is extensive. Achievements: The James Beard Cookbook, 1959. Treasury of Outdoor Cooking, 1960. Menus for Entertaining, 1965. Beard on Beard, 1973. And Beard on Food, 1974, are a few of his numerous classics still in print today. Introduced America to the art of cooking and inspired many professional chefs as the original television chef personality. Julia Child, August 50th, 1912 through August the 30th, 2004. Pasadena, California. Julia Child is not only the first female chef to be inducted into the Culinary Hall of Fame, she may also be considered the world's first celebrity chef. Perhaps it was her regal stature. She was 6 feet 2 inches, or her delightful and unique accents that left such an impression. Julia Child McWilliams was born in Pasadena, California in 1912 and lived a colorful life until her passing in 2004. Child became a household name after the 1963 premiere of her television series, The French Chef. This program introduced Americans to French food and cooking techniques and set the stage for a wave of television hosts, shows, and entire networks to come. She has also published several cookbooks. Mastering the Art of French Cooking, 1961, is one of her most famous works. Among her many awards are the Emmy Award for Achievement in Educational Television and the French Chef Peabody Award. Achievements appeared on numerous programs as well as many original series for public broadcast. Julia Child, Bon Appetit, Bon Appetit, Dinner at Julia's, yes, and Cooking with Master Chefs are just a few. Wow, won the Daytime Emmy for Outstanding Service, the show host 1996 for work with Jacques Pepin. Recently, released files from the National Archives revealed that Julia Child was a spy during WWULL. It seems that she worked with the Office of Strategic Service, a, a precursor to today's CIA, under then President Franklin Roosevelt.
Celebrity chefs. Infotainment. One only has to flip through a few cable channels to discover the trends toward reality television. The taste of American television viewers has dramatically shifted toward a hybrid style of infotainment. Naturally, this has created fertile ground for a wave of reality cooking shows and even entire networks dedicated to the culinary arts. Some of the most skilled individuals have showcased their charming personalities and unique styles, rising to the rank of celebrity chef. They offer a glimpse into a highly respected profession. They teach the latest trends in taste and cooking. They host exciting contests and delightful exhibitions. These gastronomic gurus have truly made their mark on modern culture. Alton Brown. Alton Brown was born in Los Angeles, California in the summer of 1962. When Alton was a student, he struggled with his science classes. He challenged himself to focus extra attention in this area in order to better understand the processes of cooking. This scientific approach helped Brown become a virtual encyclopedia of all things food. His quirky, somewhat geeky personality is often delivered with a humorous style, making him both entertaining and educational. Brown wrote, produced, and starred in the television show Good Eats, which focuses on familiarizing viewers with history and properties of a specific ingredient or dish. Brown won the 2011 James Beard Award for TV Food Personality or Host for Good Eats. Brown is producer of the miniseries Feasting on Asphalt and Feasting on Waves, both involve traveling in several foods of different cultures along the way. Brown was given the Cooking Teacher Award Year of the Award of Bon Appetit magazine in 2004. His first book, I'm Just Here for the Food, won the James Beard Foundation Award for Best Cookbook in the reference category and is one of the best-selling cookbooks of 2002. Besides being a culinary celebrity, Alton Brown is also an aircraft pilot and actor. Alton Brown provided commentary in a video game for the Nintendo Wii Iron Chef America Supreme Cuisine. Mario Batali. Yakima, Washington. Modern Italian cuisine is the passionate pursuit of Mario Batali. Maybe it is in his blood. His grandmother, Leonetta Martino, was one of her earliest inspirations. Stuff Your Face was the spot where he earned his stripes as dishwasher and pizza man. He spent considerable time in Chelsea, Paris, and London, and in renowned kitchens like the Tour d'Argent and the Waterside Inn. In 1985, he worked as sous chef at the Four Seasons Clift in San Francisco. Over the next 4 years, he advanced in position, and by the age of 27, he was the highest paid chef in the company. He decided to relocate to Borgo, Campani, Italy in 1989 to apprentice at La Volta and master traditional Italian cooking. Inspired and ambitious after his acquisition of new skills, Battalion opened his first restaurant, Hatu, in 1993 with former partner Stephen Crane. Battalion, with his partner Joseph Battalion, created Michelin star-winning Bava Ristorante in 1998. His achievements as frequent TV personality, Battalion's roles included hosting Iron Chef America, the series Ciao America with Mario Batali, Mario's Italy, and a PBS series about travel and food, Spain on the Road Again, which is a collaboration with Gwyneth Paltrow, Mark Bittman, and Sonny Basals. Lupa, 1999, Esca 2000. Otto, Minoteka, Pizzeria, 2003, and El Pasto, 2005, are just a few of his successful establishments. Batali has even started his own charity, the Mario Batali Foundation, founded in 2008. His mission is to ensure that all children are well-read, well-fed, and well-cared for. The foundation supports children's programs and promotes education, provide access to nutrition food options, and perform pediatric disease research. Giada De Laurentiis, Rome, Italy. Born to a family of Italian film stars, the recipient of a bachelor's degree in social anthropology, an accomplished chef and television personality, Giada has many accreditations to her name. Born in Rome, Italy, and later raised in Southern California, De Laurentiis got off to a running start in life with her first move in the culinary realm by attending the coveted Le Cordon Bleu Academy in Paris, France. Returning to the U.S., she landed work in several high-end Los Angeles restaurants, including Wolfgang Puck's famous establishment, Saga. Her food styling work in Food and Wine magazine garnered the attention of the Food Network, which in 2003 gave her her first TV gig, Everyday Italian. Giada made waves on the network, particularly when the channel received complaint emails from viewers criticizing the network's assumed decision to hire a model in lieu of an actual cook. This soon smoothed over, and her comfort fell into place with a style and flow to her on-air work that became adored by many. De Laurentiis has since hosted Behind the Bash, Giada's Weekend Getaways, Giada in Paradise, and even guest appearances with Bobby Flay on Iron Chef. She also presented the Food Network Awards and was guest judge on Season 3 of the Next Food Network Star. In 2008, her hard work was rewarded with a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lifestyle Host. Several books have also been published under her name. Her achievements: the alumni of the Cordon Bleu Academy of Paris, France. She holds a bachelor degree in social anthropology. Hosting guest on many Food Network programs, including Everyday Italian, Behind the Bash, Giada's Weekend Getaways, Giada in Paradise, Iron Chef, and the Next Food Network Star. She's self-published 5 books: Everyday Italian, 145 Simple and Delicious Recipes, Giada's Family Dinners, Everyday Pasta, Giada's Kitchen, New Italian Favorites, Giada at Home, Family Recipes from Italy and California. She won a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lifestyle Host. Giada De Laurentiis has publicly stated her weakness for chocolate and is a self-proclaimed and proud chocoholic. Bobby Flay, New York City, New York. With strong immigrant roots, many may expect traditional Irish fare from fourth-generation Irish-American and celebrity chef Robert Bobby Flay. Thanks to diverse influences, however, Bobby's brand of cuisine has taken on the flavor and spice associated with true Southwestern specialties. Born in 1964 in New York, Bobby dropped out of high school at 17. After brief stints in the New York pizza joint and skipping a position at the local Baskin-Robbins, he landed a bigger gig in the theater district's famous Joe Allen's restaurant. Bobby's natural ability and talent were unmistakable even as he performed simple tasks, inspiring Bobby to seek education at the French Culinary Institute. Bobby was an outstanding member of the first graduating class in 1984. Soon after taking a sous chef position, Bobby was introduced to the flair of Southwestern cuisine by his mentor, Jonathan Waxman. His signature style began to truly take form, Clay opened his first restaurant, Mesa Grill, in January of 1991. His red hair and freckles are uniquely recognizable, and his personality is as attractive as his menus. Bobby is an executive chef and owner of 7 popular American restaurants.
I told
He
you.
hosts several television shows, including Throwdown and the hit show The Next Food Network Star. He has authored several best-selling cookbooks and hosts his own weekly call-in radio show. Bobby continues to honor his own path to success with the Bobby Flay Scholarship to the French Culinary Institute. No doubt, the spicy Irishman will continue to deliver far more than corned beef and cabbage for years to come. His achievements: favorite competitor on Food Network's acclaimed Iron Chef America. Once threw in the kitchen towel and took a position on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Jeff Henderson, Los Angeles, California. Growing up in Southern California, Chef Jeff had his own experience as an at-risk youth. To escape poverty, he turned to drugs and was running a large-scale cocaine operation by the time he was 19. Although Henderson's drug operation was quite lucrative, it eventually led to his arrest and incarceration at age 24, and he spent almost a decade in federal prison. While in prison, he discovered his passion for cooking during kitchen duties and was determined to change his life. Once out of prison, he channeled the same intense ambition that had nearly ruined his life into the cooking skills that earned him the top chef title in some of the best kitchens in the country. Henderson stated his professional career cooking at many influential restaurants, including Gazzi's, the Escali, the dining room at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Marina del Rey, Zing, and the Good Bar. Since that time, he has started a successful catering company called Posh Urban Cuisine, which is the training ground for the young participants in the Chef Jeff Project, a show on the Food Network aimed at helping at-risk youth turn their lives around, with focus on the same type of inspiration that Jeff discovered for himself. His achievements: he's the first African-American chef de cuisine at Caesar's Palace, became the first African-American executive chef at the Bellagio, named 2001 Las Vegas Chef of the Year by the American Food and Wine Tasting Federation, was honored as top African-American chef by Black Enterprise magazine. In 2007, published his memoir, Cooked: My Journey from the Streets to the Stove, from Cocaine to Foie Gras. Created the Posh Urban Cuisine catering company, which employs participants in the Chef Jeff Project. Emeril Lagasse, Fall River, Massachusetts. The term New Orleans cuisine was coined by an American celebrity chef and entrepreneur, Emeril Lagasse. Born in 1959, Emeril developed a taste for local bayou ingredients and Creole spices. After graduating from Johnson & Wales University Culinary Arts program in 1978, Lagasse began his rise to culinary fame. He became known for using colorful catchphrases such as "kick it up a notch" and "bam" as he spiced his dishes with dramatic flair. With jazzy personality and unique style, it is no wonder that hit TV series were in his future. Emeril Live and Essence of Emeril are two of his successful shows on the Food Network. He also has a show on the Planet Green Network, Emeril Green, which teaches eco-friendly and healthier cooking techniques. He has also made countless appearances on other daytime television programs as an expert guest. Lagasse has also gained fame for his many restaurants across the country, as well as his numerous products and merchandise. Located in Orlando and Las Vegas and other great destinations, they offer various styles of fusion cuisine. His achievements: Emeril was the recipient of the James Beard Award for Regional Cuisine. The Emeril Empire generates an estimated $150 million annually in combined media, restaurant, and product revenue. Elzar, on the animated show Futurama, plays homage to Emeril Lagasse, the former space alien and chef who uses his spice weasel as a pepper mill to knock it up a notch. Jamie Oliver, Clavering, Essex, England. The ambitious James Trevor Oliver was born in Essex in 1975 and learned firsthand while growing up about unhealthy eating habits rampant in British schools. As he gained fame and wealth as an accomplished chef, he never forgot about the poor standards of processed meals in school cafeterias that contributed to such problems as obesity and diabetes. Chef Jeff came up with a revolutionary concept established the Food and Charity in London. It is a restaurant which trains 15 disadvantaged young, aspiring hospitality workers. The phenomenon spread in 15 Amsterdam, opened in 2004. Others followed in Cornwall and Melbourne. Oliver documented the process in a TV series, Jamie's Kitchen, gained acclaim after instituting a formal campaign to ban unhealthy foods in schools and inspiring healthier eating habits. His series, Jamie's School Dinners, brought radical changes to the industry by challenging the system to offer smart, low-cost alternatives to junk food. His achievements, nicknamed the Naked Chef as a tribute to using only the simplest of healthy and natural ingredients. He participated in a historic event as a guest of Chef London's G20 Global Summit in April 2009, serving important guests like President Barack Obama and British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Wolfgang Puck, St. Vaterglan, Austria. Live, love, eat is the trademark motto and intrinsic philosophy of Wolfgang Puck Companies and its founder, Wolfgang Puck. Puck received early training from his mother, who was a chef in Austria, before he began more formal training at 14 years old. Puck moved to the United States when he was 24 and eventually ended up in Los Angeles in the mid-1970s. He gained success and popularity amongst the Hollywood elite at Ma Maison, of which he became co-owner. His first cookbook, Modern French Cooking for the American Kitchen, launched his career after its 1981 release. This prompted the opening of his first flagship restaurant, Spago, on the Sunset Strip 1 year later. Spago is well known for its specialty pizzas and is currently located in Beverly Hills. His fusion-style creations brought him much acclaim and resulted in a burgeoning worldwide food empire called Wolfgang Puck Worldwide. Altogether, the Puck companies include more than 15 restaurants and over 80 Wolfgang Puck Express locations, as well as a vast array of kitchen and food merchandise, including cookbooks, frozen and canned foods. His celebrity has brought him acting gigs such as recurring role on Las Vegas and the sitcom Frasier. His achievements: Wolfgang Puck Catering is the official caterer of high-profile events such as the Academy Awards Governor's Ball. Some of Puck's appearances on the Food Network include the Iron Chef America, Battle of the Masters, and Cooking Class with Iron Chef Wolfgang Puck. Spago Beverly Hills has earned 2 Michelin stars. His restaurant, Cut, at the Beverly Wilshire earned a Michelin star after 1 year of operation. So far, Wolfgang Puck is the only chef to win the James Beard Foundation Award for Outstanding Chef of the Year 2 times. His charity, Wolfgang Puck Barbara Lazaroff Charitable Foundation,
1981 and
hosts the annual
1998
American Wine and
quoted
Food
Spago.
Festival, which has benefits the Los Angeles Meals on Wheels program. Gordon Ramsay. Johnstone, Renfrewshire, Scotland. Chefs are often notorious for being bold and outspoken, and chef and restaurateur Gordon Ramsay is no exception. Born in 1966, Ramsay spent his early training in London and France under such luminous culinary masters as Albert Savoy and Joel Rubicon. He became chef of Aubergine in 1993 and within 3 years earned it 2 Michelin stars. In 1998, he opened his first solely owned restaurant, Gordon Ramsay, at age 31. And today he has restaurants all over the world: London, Dubai, Tokyo, Melbourne, New York, and Los Angeles. Some of his well-known restaurants include Gordon Ramsay at Claridge, Petrus Mays, and the Savoy Grill. Chef Ramsay is most widely recognized from his highly successful television programs, such as Hell's Kitchen, that showcase competitive cooking and behind-the-scenes kitchen experiences. His tendency towards swearing means that the programs are often full of bleeps, giving viewers a sneak peek into the hard-working kitchen with all of its stresses and rewards. His achievements: Restaurant Gordon Ramsay was awarded 3 Michelin stars. In addition to Hell's Kitchen, Ramsay's television hits include The F Word, Kitchen Nightmares, and MasterChef US. Ramsay has published several cookbooks, starting with his first, Passion for Flavor, Just Desserts, Gordon Ramsay's Fast Food, Gordon Ramsay's Healthy Appetite, Cooking for Friends, and Ramsay's Best Menus. Ramsay published an autobiography, Roasting in Hell's Kitchen, and and humble pie. Ramsay was actually a professional soccer player in Scotland before a knee injury forced him to switch careers. Rachel Ray, Glen Falls, New York. With her spicy Sicilian and Cajun ancestry as strong influence, Rachel Ray has a personality to match her cooking style. Born in New York in 1968, Rachel was raised with her maternal grandfather as a mentor for her creative cooking techniques and philosophies, which focus on basic ingredients and fresh herbs to boost the flavors of everyday dishes. Ray's bubbly persona is bigger than her small frame, and her unique terms and creative catchphrases help make cooking an accessible art for her viewers, contributing to her popularity. She prefers measuring and mixing with her hands to keep the process creative and hands-on. Her claim to fame is the 30-minute meal concept, often with a creative solution. A stoop, a cross between a stew and a soup, or an entritizer, a meal-sized appetizer, are examples of her catchy innovation. Her achievements: her popular Food Network show 30-Minute Meals introduced America to the term EVOO, which is her own slang for extra virgin olive oil. Ray's magazine, Every Day with Rachel Ray, was launched in 2006. Ray found new market success with such products as culinary utensils, spices, oils, and even pet food bearing her name and creative marketing. In 2007, Ray officially created a new word as it was announced that the Oxford American Dictionary had added the term EVOO to its publication. Ray established a nonprofit organization, YUMO, in 2006. Its mission is to help kids and family develop a healthy relationship with food. It maintains an interactive website with family-friendly recipes to help families learn to cook, partners with other organizations that feed hungry children, and funds scholarship for cooking education.